showing you how to achieve this rotation. Okay. Hello guys, so I want to tell you how to achieve rotation of your tires and constrain it to the vehicle so that as the vehicle moves, the tire also moves. See, many people have that challenge, and I actually had a lot of challenge. I never wanted to watch YouTube. Okay, I've watched YouTube a long time ago, but I something like this. Watch out. So I'll be showing you how to achieve this rotation. Okay. So I'm in a different windows now. I want to show you how to achieve just what I just told you about right now. So let's start off. First and foremost, you have to parent the tires to the vehicle, and you do this by selecting the tires first because you want the vehicle to be the controller. So you select the tires. Okay, so let's select the tires, and then you select the vehicle last because you want to parent the tires to the vehicle. Okay, and then you press your Control P, and then you have this come up, and then you say Object Keep Transform. Right. So once you've selected that, once you click on the vehicle and you press G, you can see that it moves the tires now. Alright. So the next thing I want to do is to focus on each of the tires. I'll focus on this first tire, and I will bring out, let me set Shift S and cursor to selected. Okay, so I want my cursor to be right at the center. By going to this side orthographic, the right side orthographic, you see that my cursor is right at the center of the tire right there. Then I'm going to bring in an empty, and I prefer to use this plain empty, and I'll scale it up. That will do. Let me reduce the scale. Okay. So now I've brought in my parent, my empty, and I want to parent the tire to the empty. Now the problem many people have is that when they are trying to parent the tire to the empty, they still use Object Keep Transform. And when you do that, every other thing scatters. Okay, so you don't use Object Keep Transform. So let's do that. So if I select the tire and I select the tire and I select the empty, I would now want to parent the tire to the empty because I want the empty to be the controller. Alright, so if I do this, Control P, I would not select Object Keep Transform. I would select Object only, because if I do this and I want to show you what will happen, this is what will happen. If I select the car and I press D, you see that it's not belong there anymore, and that's not what I want to achieve. So go back, and now this going back. Alright, so I'll select the there again and select the empty, and I would go to Control P and I'll just select Object. That's all. Now, if I move, okay, you can see that it's happening. Right, so that's because I have actually removed the parent from here before now. So that would go back time and go to where, okay. Alright, so at this point we still have this. Alright, so I will now select the tire and I will say Control P, we got it, and I move this, so you can see it's Control P. So what I can now do to fix this is that I would clear what parent I have here, and I'll select first, select this, and select this. Okay, let me deselect this. I'll select this, and I'll say Object Keep Transform. Alright, if I move it, then I want to do a separate one for these two. So I'll do this and this. Alright, so that way this is open, and that way this will move. Alright, so I say RX move. Alright, so that's how I do it, guys. So you now have to come back. If I come back, I want to do the same thing for this. I want to select this tire, and I want to set the cursor to selected. That's Shift A and Shift S, and go to front orthographic mode and bring in my empty. Shift A and split out to this. It's okay. So I would now do the same thing. I will select my tire. I'll select this. I'll select my tire. I'll select the body, and I would want to do this again. So this I would try that. It's fine. Everything's fine. So I would select the tire and select the empty, and select the empty, and I'll say Ctrl P, and I'll just say object. And if I select the empty and I say RX, it's rotating. Now it rotates from this point, and that's rotate as the car moves. But notice something, there's the tire at the other end. Alright. I purposely did not select these tires because there's a need to fix this. I don't need to while bringing my so there's a very easy way to fix this. I would just select the tire and I would mirror it very easily. That's the way to fix that, guys. Just select tire, go to your modifier panel and generate, and you mirror on the x-axis, okay? And you select your clipping tool and you select this. That way fixed. Alright. And let me see, before I apply, I would do the same thing for this, and I would mirror on x-axis, and I would do the same thing, and there, it's fixed. So if I move the empty, both tires will move. Okay, let's say, look at it, RX, you see, yeah, so both tires will move, picking up the rotation and constraint. But there's something else we have to do, and it's not that for you guys, because there are some times that when the vehicle is moving, some anomalies will take place here, so I have to bring in constraints. Okay, so I'll select the empty, and I'll go to constraint, and I'll bring in rotation, copy rotation, and I want it to copy rotation on Y and Z axis. I want it to constraint the Y and Z axis, and only remove constraint from X axis. So I would deselect X. You can see what I've done, and then I would target the car, and voilà, that's it. And I will do the same thing for this. I'll select the empty, and I'll add constraint, and I would go to copy rotation, and I would remove constraint from X direction, and I'll select this again, and that's that. And remember to always apply, because you have to actually apply at the end of everything. I apply at the end of mine. So now let's move it along this path and see what happens. Okay, so let's move it. Go to front graphic mode and move it. So I would yeah, there's a lot of things here. I'm going to just rush through the other part. I'm going to bring my camera, a new camera. Let me parent my camera to the vehicle too. So I want the camera to follow the vehicle. So I'll parent it. Now I'm going to give the tire. I'm going to give the tire its own position. Okay, so let's animate the tire, guys. Let's animate the tire. So I'll come to 0. We'll start with 0, and I will rotate it in minus. Let me give it 3. Let's say 720. In x-axis minus 720. Sorry. I'll start with 0. 0, and at 80, maybe at this point, I would now at 0. I would set expectation and give it a marker. Okay, and at 80, I'll set it to 720. Let's say minus 720 in that direction, and I would mark it. So how do I know that, guys? I've tested it, and so that must work. I've used minus. But feedback, I'll be using the positive. So I will do the same thing for this. I'll go back to 0. And remember that it's mirrored, so row then takes the mirror. And I'll come to 80. And I would say 720. I'll not say minus. I'm going to say 720. And I would key it there. And this. No, we're not sure yet. So let's move this in. Let's move this, say, in the y direction out of the scene. So I would come to 0, and I'll press I, set location, rotation, and I will come to 80, somewhere around here, and I'm going to move the curve and the y-axis out of the scene this way. Yes, and I'll press I again, and select this. So that way, if I come back, this like this, and you're going to notice something very funny going to happen here. So let me just go into 0, and oh, so something funny is happening here, very funny indeed. But before I set that, I want to set the camera again. Okay. So okay, so that's 80. I'll do the same. Something is definitely wrong here. Alright, so I'll just go back to the format setting. So at 80. Okay. there's something I did not do, but that's not a big deal. I just want to show you how the just want to show you the actual problem here. So I'll pick the tires first because there's actually an issue. I'll pick the tires first, and let's go back here and focus on it. And I want to show you what's actually wrong here, because the car is gonna just move out of the scene. See, just watch what's happening. It's not moving. It's not moving. And suddenly, when it gets to 80, voila, it's gone. So, and we don't want that to happen. That's very wrong. How bad is that, right? So I would come to my timeline. I'll remove it from timeline. I'll go to graph editor, and I'll select all. And I'm gonna right click and go to undo type, and I want to select this here, because that way it starts slow, moves fast, and ends slow. That's what I want. Alright, so this time, if I zoom in and I move this way, you see it's moving. But if you notice very well, it still has the same issue. So I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna select this because the tire has just about the same issue. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to set this one instead, not Bezier. I'll set the interpolation mode to linear. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same for these two. And I'll right click and set interpolation to linear. Voila. So that way, yeah, even my camera movement would work now. So I would now play this.